Good evening. So today was an absolutely beautiful spring morning, and I was feeling a little down because I'd just been so focused on learning some online tech, and that's not my strong suit. So I needed a day off, and I got it. Very important for everybody. So we are making gluten-free cookies today. They do have some sugar in them, but you know, I don't know. I'm not pro sugar, but I'm not 100% anti-sugar either, because I really believe that as long as you're eating your foods with joy and awareness, you're good. So this called for 1 stick of butter, which is 4 ounces, and it called for it to be very soft. I don't own a microwave, so I just stuck it in the oven on very low to soften it just a tiny bit more, because it wasn't what I would have considered very soft. So now I'm stirring it to mix in any melted part with the part that's not. Although I do have a trick for softening butter, and it's amazing. Sounds crazy, but I will actually share that in another video. So what I like so much about this particular recipe, everything is weighed. So it goes together so fast. So we've got the butter, we've got it stirred. We're gonna tare our scale, meaning bring it to 0. And we may have to do that with each ingredient add. I am not sure. But it's calls for 100 grams of brown sugar, but I use coconut sugar, so it calls for less. Let me see, let me get this on grams. Oh. All right, so it's 85 grams of coconut sugar. That's 22, 42, almost 60, 77, 84, 85. $50 grams of white sugar. I was just a tiny bit over. A little too enthusiastic for these cookies. These cookies are amazing. $50 grams of white sugar, and then we stir again and mix it up really well. So, why don't you guys tell me what you like doing in the spring? Or what you like doing outside when the weather's nice. Just add that to the comments. I like walking my dog. I planted my morning glories this morning, and there was a lot of squirrels in the neighborhood, so I had to put these small, bigger than pebbles, but smaller than rocks, on top of my dirt in the pots. So chives and morning glories, so the squirrels couldn't get them. And I'm looking forward to that coming up. Okay, so I think it's well mixed. Now we're going to add 1 room temperature egg. And mine's a little, I just took it out, so I warmed it up in some water. I just decided I was going to make these a little while ago. And vanilla, 1 teaspoon. And you guys know how much I love vanilla. I make my own. So we are going to add more than 1 teaspoon. That's totally up to you. That was a 1 teaspoon measure. And then we're going to stir it up again. So this recipe doesn't require a mixer. It's so easy. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this. This recipe calls for a 20 to 30 minute refrigeration. And I used to refrigerate it overnight because I liked puffier, higher cookies, and that's what happens when you refrigerate. The less you refrigerate it, the flatter, chewier, lower they are. So that's probably what we're going to do today. All right, so next we're going to add our flours. It does call for oatmeal, and we use old-fashioned oats, the same oats that we used for granola, and it's 150 grams. We're almost there. 145, 48. Yep. 150 almond flour, which I forgot to take out of the refrigerator. No worries. That's 175 grams. And I will go ahead and put the cup measurements in here in case you don't own a scale. But oh my gosh, it's so easy. I highly recommend. There is a link in the description of this video for a really good scale. It's not the exact one I use, because I don't think they carry it anymore. But the brand is, it's an Ozeri. I think that's how you pronounce it. Ozeri. 175. Right, 175. Whoop. And we are there. And then we're going to stir this, I believe. Stir in the almond flour, baking soda, cinnamon, and salt. So the other things that makes this so easy, it's a half a teaspoon for each. Salt. And I always dump the baking soda measurement into my hand and make sure there's no lumps, because I don't like biting into a lump of baking soda. And the cinnamon. Plus, using a scale is much more accurate in baking. All right, now we're going to stir. So it's pretty dry here. We had several days of downpour where I think they were talking about possible flooding. And of course, I don't really worry about any of those kinds of things. But now it's so dry, they're talking about a fire danger, a fire risk. So I was like, whatever, make up your mind, right? But it's still spring. It did get up to almost 80 today. And after I stick these in the fridge, because like I said, they refrigerate for 20 to 30 minutes. And it's not going to hurt them to refrigerate longer. A lot of it is so the ingredients can, the moisture can like work its way all the way through the ingredients. That's what resting periods are for. even with meats. You let a meat rest so that the activated juices can settle down and they don't run out of the meat when you cut into it. So most meats benefit from a resting period. And all that stuff is Googleable. You can Google it. How long do I let lamb rest? How long should I let chicken rest? All of that. Okay, so it looks pretty good. And then we get to add one more thing, which is my favorite ingredient. Oh, something else you can tell me. Do you eat raw cookie dough? I do, but I use eggs. They are small farm eggs. But there's much less risk of salmonella. I don't really care anyway. That was 1 cup of dark chocolate. These are premium cacao bits. You can use chocolate chips if you want. And I like it so much that I'm adding the rest in the bag. And it's only about a 1/4 cup. So if you don't eat raw cookie dough, make sure you put why. Is it because of the raw eggs? Whatever your reason is. And maybe we'll do a little poll. It's just so good. I can't and don't want to resist it. It brings pleasure. And that's the key. I mean, seriously. When you eat raw cookie dough or anything that you enjoy, do you feel guilty? You go, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah? Or do you go, oh my God, this is so amazing. I love this raw cookie dough. This chocolate just melts in my mouth. Oh my goodness. The vanilla is so wonderful in this cookie. I am so grateful to have this raw cookie dough. Or cookies or, you know, anything. Now, I don't recommend eating raw meat, but that's not really enjoyable anyway. I mean, I do like my steak rare, but... All right, we are mixed up. We are ready to go in the refrigerator. And I don't think I finished my story, but Gracie is getting a walk. All right, here is to enjoying raw cookie dough. It is so good. All right, see you in a little bit. These cookies are baking at 350 for 10 minutes. And these are about teaspoon-sized dough. Actually, you know, just a spoon that you eat with. Kind of pat it into a ball. Center of the oven, like middle shelf. 10 minutes. And they're done. Now, ovens vary, so you want them to be just getting golden around the bottom when they come out. And they'll be perfect. Out of the oven, just a little golden around the bottom. Now I'm going to let these sit on the cookie tray for a few minutes just to firm up. And then I'll move them to join all the other cookies. This recipe makes about 3 dozen, depending on the size of cookie that you make. All right. Thanks for joining me.